should say this right now.
Here we go. Okay, so here we are, and apparently it says that this hangout is now live. So welcome everybody to this is the very first Kubuntu podcast, and well, it's been a bit of a mission to put this together, and one or two challenges have stood before us, and I think we're all feeling a little bit frayed at the edges, but welcome and thank you for joining us to this very first podcast, and we hope you enjoy it. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce a couple of co-hosts who are here with me today. So I've got Aaron Honeycutt. How are you, Aaron?
Good.
Excellent, really good. And whereabouts in the world are you, Aaron?
Florida in USA.
Oh, okay. So what's the temperature like over there right now? Is it really warm?
I haven't checked at all today.
You should get out more.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, of course, being British, we always talk about the weather, and I forget that the rest of the world just think we're weird for talking about the weather. So, of course, that was a perfectly normal thing for Aaron to say. What are you talking about the weather? I've not gone out. Also with me is Ovidiu. How are you today, mate?
Hello. Not particularly happy. My car broke down, but never mind that. I'm from Romania, in Europe, and okay, I'm getting lost. I'm a bit stressed out because of this, but we'll see what happens. You ain't seen nothing yet. It's going to get more stressed out as we go, I'm sure. Don't worry about it. Look, you know, what could possibly go wrong? Yeah. Oh, actually, Aaron's already started the list of what could go wrong in our show notes. Rick, you haven't said where you're from. You just said you're British.
No, yeah, right, okay. So, so I'm from Exeter in the southwest of the UK. So my time zone is GMT +1. What's your time zone, Ovidiu?
GMT? No, I'm UTC +2, actually.
Okay, and Aaron, what's your time zone?
I have no idea how to measure that. I think UTC -4.
Okay.
Most people use UTC, except the British.
Yes,
yeah.
Well, we like Greenwich Mean Time, you know. Okay, so, well, look, as you can see, for those of you that are joining us for the first time, this is a new show, and we've got some idea of format and the things that we want to do, but Kubuntu and KDE is all about community. So we want to get you guys involved with us and help give us some direction on the show for the kinds of things that you want to talk about. So today,
tell us what you want to see, what you want to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. So let us know. And we'll willing to do some demonstrations to talk about specific pieces of software. If you've got particular people that you'd like us to get on and join us and do some interviews, perhaps with particular application developers or members of the Kubuntu team or whoever really, software developers, then get them to get in touch with us, and we can do that. You know, we're willing to take your lead, really, you as a community, to give us some idea. You can join us. You can, if you're watching live, you can join us right now if you go to irc.freenode.net and join #Kubuntu-podcast. You can join me and the rest of the guys there, and you can post questions, etc. Of course, you can also post questions to us on Google Plus as well. So anyway, let's just get a little bit of narrative going about what we've been up to this week. I've had just a mad, crazy week. What we've been poorly. I'm still slightly sweaty because I'm still poorly a little bit today. I've had 4 or 5 days of having a virus running a temperature, and it's been complete chaos here, and that's thrown a spanner in the works. What about you, Aaron? What have you been up to this week? Have you been anywhere recently?
Yes, at Self in North Carolina last weekend.
Southeast Linux Fest, yeah?
Yes.
Excellent. Hey! That's awesome. Maybe you're going to tell us a little bit more about that once we get into the news then. You'll give us an update on that, Aaron, yeah?
Yep.
Awesome, absolutely great. Okay, so what about you, Ovidiu? Why don't we start with this car breakdown episode? What happened there then, mate?
So the other day I went to pick up my cousin from the airport. When I got home, I saw that the heating, the cooling system just completely broke down. So unfortunately, that stopped me from going to work, but it didn't stop me from working. So I still went to work virtually and did my job.
Brilliant. So is it one of these kind of like steaming wreck at the side of the car with steam coming out and the temperature thermometer gone off the gauge?
When I popped up the hood, steam came out and boiling water was splashing everywhere, and oh my God, what's happening? This thing is gonna blow.
Now you see, here in the UK, I would have been prepared for that kind of eventuality, and I would have had a box of Yorkshire tea bags in the back of the car.
Oh boy.
Good one. I was prepared. I had a bottle of water so that I could keep going on. But since I've been working remotely today, I've been stuck in front of the computer most of the day. So hopefully tomorrow evening I'll be able to take it to the mechanic and leave it there.
Yeah, that's the best place for it. So that'll get it fixed up. Okay, so. And what about the rest of your week? Have you been feeling a bit anxious about the fact that I didn't put any preparation to this at all, and you couldn't get hold of me for a week? And
that was stressful for both of us.
That was sure fun.
Yeah. So that we bring everybody up to speed, we talked about this week preparing for the podcast, and we tried to get in touch with Rick, and me and Aaron kept pinging him on IRC. We called him on Hangouts. No answer. Rick was nowhere to be found. Rick left the planet. And all of this, today I decided, okay, this is serious. Come on, it's already the day of the podcast. We have to do something. So I pulled up my phone and called him directly, which is something I usually avoid calling people directly on the phone because there's the reason they usually don't answer on IRC or chat. But yeah, so I called him and, hey dude, come on, the podcast is coming. And then he told me, oh yeah, but I have my daughter's, what did you have, something about your daughter had a show or something.
Oh yes, that's right. Well, it was my daughter's recital at the school. Yeah. So she's the whole school was getting the orchestra together, playing oboes and violins and saxophones and all kinds of things. And so I wasn't entirely sure what time that was going to be ending, but I was anticipating that it'd be 7 p.m., which turned out to be 10 to 8. So no pressure. 20 minutes late, racing in here to try and get this set up. But you know, it creates a certain sense of energy, that tension, that stress. It creates a certain buzz, and I think that's really important as well. To make sure that what we're doing here, we want to be. Kubuntu is a friendly community, and we want you to see that in its entirety and see us, because we're all members of the Kubuntu community. We want to see us in our true flesh and not be wooden, and to keep things loose and moving forward. So it has been an interesting week. It has been challenging, but you know, opportunity never seems to know the metric of time. So when we decided to put this show together, and Video contacted me and said, let's start thinking about doing some stuff with video and so on and so forth. Well, you know, when opportunity knocks, you just got to grab that with both hands and get on with it. So we're going to need some lead from you guys in the community.
So mostly what I wanted to achieve from this show, since we're still just talking about the show and not doing the show, I just want to, mostly what I want is to show you guys how awesome, well, all of us, we want this, to show you how awesome Kubuntu and all the applications from KDE are, and to do also some show and tell, but exactly, show and tell. Show for the video watchers and tell for the audio listeners, so that everybody can see and hear how good and how awesome the KDE applications are, and how awesomely Kubuntu prepares all that into a cool package where you can just download it, install it, and just use it.
Amen to that. Too right.
This is what I usually tell new people to Kubuntu. When you install Kubuntu, you don't have to mess with installing drivers, installing all the applications. When you install it, you can just use it. You don't have to do anything else. Just install it and use it. You're done. Unlike most Romanians, they're used to Windows. And when they install Windows, they have to call someone. Okay, I need you to reinstall my Windows. Not because reinstalling Windows is hard. That's easy to do. But after that, you have to fiddle with the drivers. You have to fiddle with installing the correct applications. Make sure you don't get any... how is that called? All the applications that you don't want to install that get installed because you just click next, next, next.
Yeah, well,
those issues in Kubuntu. When you download it, it's ready to use.
Yes, it is, absolutely. And you know, and that the key word is down when you download and use it. The key here is what we want you to do is to encourage you guys out there to go off to kubuntu.org, go and download the ISOs and just try them. Try the live ISOs, see the desktop for yourself. Do you know, I'm going to say this word now, but you know, Plasma 5 in KDE is just gorgeous. It is so beautiful. You've got to go see it. Okay, that's enough plugging for a moment, and that's what we've been up to. So here we are, and we're going to get started. We're really going to need some feedback from you guys in the audience, so please, please, please do get in touch with us. Come follow us, Kubuntu Podcast on Google+. Join us in IRC, #Kubuntu-podcast. And more importantly, as well, get involved with the Kubuntu community if you want to. There are mailing lists, community forums, and so on and so forth. And we'll tell you more about that as these shows progress into the future. Right, let's move on to, I'm going to do a cheeky segue here, and I might even edit that out later, and I might even edit some music in later as well. And but we'll see. So that'll be for the audio podcast, and I haven't even got a theme tune yet. So if you've got a style or a particular theme tune piece of music that you would like to recommend that we use for our segue transitions and our intro and outro to the Kubuntu Podcast show, then do get in touch with us, send us some links, tell us, and let's have a listen, and we'll see what we can do. Okay. Now, in anticipation of this, let's go across to Aaron for a moment, because you've been over at Southeast Linux Fest, and you said you'd tell us a little bit about what had been going on there and what your experience was. So take us through it. How did you get over there, Aaron? What was it like? What were your first impressions? Who was there? Give us the lowdown, my man.
I got over there having a friend who's in the Ubuntu community. We did a road trip from Florida, Hollywood, Florida, all the way to North Carolina to go over there. And here's a pamphlet that they had for us. I don't know. A Vegas kind of theme little book with the time slots and schedules and who's doing talks and the sponsors and everything.
Okay,
and,
so yeah, carry on.
The first day was all about UbunkCon. Michael Hall was there showcasing devices and everything. Quite a few talks about locos, how to get them energized up community-wise. There was one person talking about Adrenos, you running development with virtual machines.
Let's talk about the locos a little bit. What's a loco, Aaron?
Locos is a local community system for people who are using Ubuntu to join up, share stories. Not necessarily teaching, just show that everyone has support when using the system, locally and nationwide.
Okay. So these are like little community groups. I guess like over here in the UK we have these Linux user groups, what we call the lugs.
The lugs, yeah.
So that kind of thing.
It's Ubuntu's turn of a style. The same thing, really.
Cool. Okay. So did you go to any of these talks that were scheduled, and if so, which ones? What was it like?
I only had time, I believe, to only go to one or two. The rest of the time I was manning the booth for Ubuntu. I went to Michael's talk about app development for the Ubuntu phone, and a little bit of his about locos and everything. The talk he did about locos, try to get the locos restarted or to start one if there isn't one already.
Okay, so did you come away with any links or any info or any stuff like that we could share with some of our viewers and listeners? Anything like that?
I know I had a post somebody gave me about doing Ubuntu hours.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on a mailing list somewhere.
That's all right. Well, we'll get some links for that, and we'll put them in
the show notes later.
Yeah, exactly. Put them in the show notes or pop them in there. So, what did you take away from Michael Hall's talk about the app development for the Ubuntu phone? What's the energy like around that?
There was a lot of interest in Ubuntu phone at demos and everything. Everybody found the seamless transfers between applications very nice. Always questions about if the app's on. Do you have this app? Do you have that app? And what network can they get? What phone they can get for the U.S. market?
So when you say the seamless transition between, do you mean like the convergence side of things, where it moves between the desktop and the phone environment?
No, there's no real device that shows it yet. The seamless transfer was talking about like switching between applications really easily and multitasking.
Is that like having the applications synchronized among each other?
I don't have a camera to show it. No, the transition when you're switching between applications, they're in like a stack of cards layout versus Android typical.
Okay. Hang on a minute.
I know about it. Michael Hall posted about that on Google+.
Here we go. I'll hold this up to the camera here, and if I can get it right, but you can see here, like, on the phone, you've got like this stack of cards. Here you go. So basically, just like a sort of fan of card applications that allow you to just transition between the two. Yeah, that is really good. The experience with the Ubuntu phone is absolutely brilliant. Once I just think it's really, really good. They've done such a great job of that. But we must not forget KDE Connect. And
KDE Connect is amazing.
KDE Connect that runs on Android and connects with the KDE desktop as well. Maybe we should look to get somebody from KDE Connect. Maybe the guy that did some work developing on that. Get them on the show. We should do that. Albert, okay. Do you know him? Do you, Ovidiu?
I've talked to him a little bit because I got involved a little bit with KDE Connect, but not that much. So mostly I just follow what's happening new. I'm subscribed to the commit mailing list for KDE Connect. So when something new pops up, I usually know about it.
Okay.
But if anybody wants to know more about KDE Connect, just follow on Google+. Many people are posting about what they're doing with it and all that.
Cool. Okay. Well, we'll maybe see if we can get that going on. So, coming back to Southeast Linux Fest, then, Aaron. So, what floated your boat over there? What was the thing that you thought was the best thing about it?
It's not Ubuntu related, but they had a Red Hat was there who had a 3D printer that was all running free software, using the software to actually get it to print out, and making everything was awesome. And I have a little KDE gear made from 3D printer.
That's the little one?
This is a big one. It actually has a little hole right there for a key ring. And then,
can we run a podcast competition to give one of them away then, Aaron?
I don't know where I would get more though. I don't have a printer.
The ones that are right now, they're scheduled to be taken to Academy. And
I have the little ones scheduled for Academy. I have 6 of them.
Yeah, they're going to be distributed amongst the Kubuntu developers mostly. But we're hoping to get our hands on a new 3D printer. Rick, you said you have one, and get more printed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yes, I've led myself into a corner. Okay. I think
the sketch for this is on Thingiverse. Yeah. The sketch for this is on Thingiverse, so anyone can download it and print it and modify it whatever they want.
I'll grab the link to Thingiverse and put it in there in the links.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. We'll run a competition. Okay. So we'll run a little competition, and I'll say about this now. So What we're looking for is for Creative Commons licensed music or free music that we can use for our Kubuntu podcast intro and outro and segue section. And you get extra bonus points if you actually just go and write something yourself and then put that together and send that in to us. Give us some links to it, and whichever piece of music that we choose, that person will get a big and a little K cog that I'll print on my 3D printer just as soon as I've built it.
So it's still boxed.
And do you know what? Listen, and it is a promise, right? So I will absolutely get those gears done and delivered. If for some reason my 3D printer doesn't look like it's happening in time, I've got some mates over at the Fab Lab in Exeter, and I'll go and use their 3D printer. They've got a maker ball, and so I'll get them made up, and then we'll send them out to somebody. So we'll put that in the show notes as well. That as a little con. Okay, right. So anything? So how many days were you out at Self then, Aaron?
I was there the entire week from Friday to Sunday. So I was there every single day.
You posted a few images and some bits and updates to your Google Plus timeline, because I saw those as well.
Oh, don't forget to mention his Twitter, because he tweeted like crazy.
Okay. Well, let's maybe you can tell us about your Twitter and your Google Plus accounts then, Aaron, and add something into the show notes about that as well.
Yeah, I can pop the blog post I had from day one, the UbunkCon one. I have a blog post about it.
Okay, that sounds cool.
Aaron, you okay if I share your Twitter link on IRC?
Sure.
So who's going to watch that? He's going to see lots of stuff. Aaron being happy, then some beer, and then some KD gears.
Woohoo! And there it goes on Google Plus. You're going to be notorious. I mean, famous anytime now.
Notorious and famous, the same thing.
Cool. Okay. Oh, it's me. Right, okay, that was why there was a stall in the segue. Don't worry, I'll edit that out into Kosher later. Right, so I wanted to talk about something that I came across. I don't know if you guys have come across a magazine called Full Circle magazine. You can find it at fullcirclemagazine.org.
Not familiar.
I've heard about it. I read a few issues.
It is really, really good, and the team put this together. I think they put the whole thing.
Hello.
Whole thing.
So you can install that. Yeah, the whole thing is put together with Scribus and GIMP and free software tools, and you can download it for free in EPUB or PDF. It's ace. It's a really, really professionally put together publication. And in issue 97, they've done a big review of KDE Plasma 5, which of course is what we were so busy getting together to get the release for 15.04 and get all the Plasma 5 stuff from KDE out. And there's a big review in there that will tell you all about KDE Plasma 5 and some of the new features and the funky new look that it's got, because the new KDE frameworks are really, really good, and the new Qt libraries just make it really, really beautiful. That's the only word you can really use, isn't it? Really? It's beautiful.
It's really nice structured. Let me share my screen a little bit here.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that.
So here's the magazine opened.
Yep.
There. And if it has a really nice format. I should get that nice scroll plugin. So I see that it's really nice structured, easy to read, news about Microsoft, yeah. And let me just scroll a little bit faster. There's some how-to here. LibreOffice macro security, how to use LaTeX. Sorry, LaTeX, I think that's how it's pronounced.
I say LaTeX.
Okay. I see they have Python special editions program in Python. Awesome. Programming JavaScript Part 2, so I guess they have some tutorials on this in their issues. Some ads. Oh, Inkscape tutorial. Awesome. Asteroid Light Curve Simulator. From what I see so far, it's an Arduino project. Let's see. How to write for the magazine, Linux Lab, IP cameras, Ubuntu phones, KDE Plasma 5 review, finally. And we have a picture with KDE 3 over here. Then with KDE 4. And finally, Plasma 5. Awesome. I should really get to read this and see what they say about this. I haven't seen it yet. But really nice magazine. Oh, it has a comic strip. Like some Q&A, Ubuntu games, how to contribute. Okay, and this is it. Awesome.
So now this is like a monthly magazine or thereabouts that it gets put out. So they've done such a good job of pulling this together, the guys. And you can obviously go and download it from fullcirclemagazine.org, and there's links in the show notes. And I just posted a link into IRC, and I'll post a link into our Google Plus timeline in just 1 second, so you can see about that too if you like. And also you can get this on Android via Issue as well. And no doubt...
Issue is an Android app for this?
It is, that's right, yeah. Issue is an Android app for reviewing magazines and so on and so forth. And no doubt there's somebody fervently, having studied Michael Hall's app development on Ubuntu phone, somebody's no doubt getting straight onto writing an Ubuntu app to put Full Circle magazine on the Ubuntu phone as well.
Aaron has some experience with that.
Yeah. When's it going to be ready then, Aaron?
What, doing an app for Full Circle?
Yeah, man.
I hadn't thought about that. That would be a really good idea, actually.
Yeah, you think you can show off your app, your Ubuntu phone app?
This camera does anything good on my computer. I actually don't have it installed on my phone. I think I did a floor wipe earlier last week.
So
somewhere else so I get that set up
next time.
Well, put that on. Put a Full Circle Mag app, Ubuntu app, on your to-do list, then, Aaron, and we'll see whether we can. And then we'll see whether we can speak to the boys at Full Circle. Maybe get somebody to come on our show, maybe to tell us a bit more about the magazine and why they went to such a lot of effort to make something free and so professionally done, and what their kind of future is for it. So if you guys are out there watching this at Full Circle Magazine, get in touch with us, because we've got a slot to get you on this show. Okay, let's segue again and move over to Ovidiu. So, what do you got for us, my man?
So, since this is the news section, I would like to talk a little bit about what's going to happen soon, like really soon. That's at the end of the next month. It's between 25 and 31st of July. Sorry. In a small but yet very beautiful place, A Coruña, in Galicia in Spain, is going to be the 2015 edition of Academy. Let me show you their website. So if you go to academy.kde.org/2015, you will find more information about this. So basically, what's this? What's Academy? Academy is the World Summit for KDE developers, which takes place once a year, and this is the largest ones. There's also an academy that takes place in Brazil, and if I'm not mistaken, but I think that one's called differently, there's one in India. So in Academy, most, if not all, KDE developers will meet and talk about what they want to do, where do they want to take KDE, and plan and work on their projects. So I'm planning to go there. This is going to be my first edition. Same with Aaron. He's also coming. But I don't know. Is that your first? Yep. Is this your first edition as well?
It's my first time. Yeah.
Okay, so we are pretty excited for this. I'll be going there with my brother, which he's a Kubuntu user and promoter, but he's not a member yet, but he will become soon. And when we'll go there and see what we can do to make KDE and especially Kubuntu awesome.
That sounds really good. So you're going as well, Aaron. You must be flying out there, are you?
Yep.
Wow, you just
on the wonderful Ubuntu community's dime.
Excellent.
Thanks for the donations.
We're keeping you really busy, aren't we?
Aaron, let's not forget to put the I'm going to Academy badges on our blogs.
Oh, I forgot about that because when I was found that I never had a blog.
Okay, I must not forget this. I'll keep it open here so I don't forget about it.
Pop that on the show notes in case somebody is going to go who's watching too.
I'm going to put a link to the whole Academy website so they can see here. If anybody wants to join, sure, you can join. The presentations are open for anybody. So if you just you have all the place, all the details about where and when and how are things going to happen. You have all of these on the website. Here we have the program. If I go to program overview, I don't think this is completely filled in yet. It should get filled in the following weeks. But see, as you can see, there are many workshops, and in the weekend there are a few talks. We also have an Academy Android app, and I think it also works on Sailfish, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to check with that.
If it works on Sailfish, it should actually work on Ubuntu Touch as well. They both use QML, and it wouldn't be hard to move it.
I've looked through the source code. The whole application is just QML and a bit of Python.
Oh, then it's like dread simple to move it over.
Yeah.
In theory.
Put that on your to-do list then, Aaron.
Yeah, it seems to be that way, huh?
What I would like to do is I would like to improve a little bit on the if I'm going to get involved in that application, and most likely I will. I'd like to improve a little bit on the design of the application. Currently, it just shows you the information that you need, but I want to make it a little more pretty. And I'm going to get a lot of inspiration from the FOSDEM application.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. So, obviously, Academy is a week. It's a whole week then, with lots and lots of things going on, loads of events. Obviously, lots and lots of activity for those people that are going to go and visit. Are there any other ways to stay up to date other than the website and stuff? Is there anything being Google Plus or video streamed or anything like that?
There are news on Google Plus. You can just search for Academy on Google Plus. But not only on Google Plus, also on Facebook if someone wants to search there, or Twitter. And there's a mailing list, but I don't remember exactly if the mailing list is just for attendees or for anybody who wants to join in.
Okay.
I'm not sure about that, so I'm not commenting on it.
So, well, of course, the cool thing about it is that now that we've got the Kubuntu podcast and you two guys are both going over to Academy, then obviously we need you guys to take notes and to bring us back a full update for Kubuntu podcast and let us know what you guys got up to, what was going on, what was exciting, what's coming up in the future, what secret things are being worked upon by the KDE developers. So will you be able to do that for us, Ovidiu?
Sure. Yeah. As I've done before with the there was a bug squashing party in Munich, which I've worked with the KDE PIM team. There were also some new things happening there, which at the moment they were happening, they weren't very public. They were still a secret. And right now I don't know how public they are, so I'm still gonna restrain on talking too much about some stuff. But for all the Akonadi haters out there, it's going to get better, a lot better.
Okay, so the take home from this, those of you watching and listening, is of course that this is secret information from the inside. And we'll delve more into. I'll needle a video a bit more to try and get some more secret information out of it.
There's on the KDE wiki, I think on TechBase, there's a drawing, a diagram. There's a diagram that I've made about the new functionality of the new Akonadi. So I'll find it, and if anybody wants to see it, and I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, cool. Okay, post it in the show notes, and we'll put that up on Google Plus as well. And obviously, Aaron, you're going to do the same. So I don't want any excuses about jet lag.
I think you can only use that excuse on the first day. So 7 days, I can't have a valid reason not to do any of it.
Cool. Okay, so, and obviously people can keep up with you. I've posted your Twitter account out onto Google Plus, so people can keep up with you there. And if you want to do the same, if you want to post out your links for your social feeds, etc., or of course anybody coming to the Kubuntu Podcast, you can find all of us for our G Plus feeds at the Kubuntu Podcast show on Google Plus. So that's really cool. Okay. We've got a number of ideas to put into what we call the central section of the show, and we're going to be looking at doing some interviews. We're going to be also looking at doing some show and tell, and focusing on specific KDE applications, specific Kubuntu installed applications too. And we're going to be doing that as the show goes on and goes forward. But what I wanted to do right now was I really wanted to just take a bit of time to talk with Aaron and Ovidiu and get a little bit about their background and where they came from and how they got involved in Kubuntu and KDE. So I'm going to start with you, if I can, for a moment, Aaron, and just ask you really, how long ago did you first come across Kubuntu? How did you find it and discover it? What was your kind of first impression? What got you excited about it?
I actually can't remember how I discovered and when. I know Ubuntu as a core, I've been using it for 5 years, so it's probably a little bit around that time frame. I started really doing with KDE and Kubuntu because of the interface, and it has a lot more features and power like KRunner and such. I'm sure a video will go over later, a different show.
Okay.
It's because of the layout, and I can move things around with the panels, so everything's easier to set up for different users other than me, to convert people over from Windows as well.
So what drew you, and now obviously one of the things that I know you, there are kind of two things that sort of that I've got to discover about you, really. The first one was how much time you spend on IRC. You're very unlike me. You're very easy to get hold of on IRC. You're usually kicking about in the Kubuntu development channel or on the standard Kubuntu channel as well, and you're a really friendly guy, and you're always engaging with the community and talking to people, and you welcome new people aboard, which is just, those are really awesome qualities, and actually that's a strength that you offer to the Kubuntu community. But I know also that you work almost single-handedly on part of the documentation side of things as well. So what was it that got you motivated about wanting to commit your time to the Kubuntu flavor of Ubuntu, and what was it that drew you into getting engaged in that way?
What drew me in was that I wanted to find a way I could help, that I didn't really need coding experience, and there's not much experience needing for documentation for coding wise. And Valerie, one of the Kubuntu council members, pointed me towards documentation because it was lacking since I think 12.04, the last long-term support that came out. So it desperately needed a revamp, which Valerie, me, and David Wingerly did last LTS 14.04.
Okay, and now I know in the background you're working on new updated documentation as well, aren't you? Using Sphinx and REST text formatting.
Yes, I'm moving all our current documentation that we redid for 14.04 to REST restructured text, and using the Sphinx same documentation that Python uses to export it into HTML, PDF, and EPUB formats easily. I'm trying to get the other flavors to do it as well, so everyone can have a similar code base rather than using Wiki here, DocBook here, and a whole bunch of different languages. So we each have a singular language and having it all on Launchpad, so everyone can grab it more easily than ripping it from wikis and stuff like that.
Yeah, I must admit, I mean, you gave me a little bit of a steer a few weeks ago now, because one of the things I looked at was just taking a bit of time to clone your documentary repo from GitHub so that I could have a look at it. And I've had a cursory glance at it, but what really interested me more was the Sphinx tools on SourceForge, and also this restructured text idea for producing the documentation. And that was really good, because I've actually started looking at that as a potential documentation tool for some of the stuff that I'm doing at work too. So so that's really, really good, and I'm looking forward to seeing those new documentation when you've got that finished, Aaron. That's really awesome. So what about Ovidiu then? So Ovidiu, how long have you been involved with Kubuntu and KDE, and what was it that got you first involved in it?
So since high school I've been a Ubuntu user, and I've used Ubuntu quite a lot and forced myself to switch from Windows, and I've managed to completely give up Windows in I think 2011 or earlier than that. I don't remember exactly. No, wait. No, sorry. That's my college years. In high school, in 2007, I think I completely gave up Windows and only used Ubuntu or Linux distributions since then. But I went to Portugal in Erasmus once in my college years, and then when I was there, guess what? New awesome thing came to Ubuntu. Unity. They pulled out Unity. I tried to use it for a couple of months. I really tried. I can't blame them, but I just couldn't. So since then I've completely switched to Kubuntu. I've tried before, but I didn't really understand how some things in KDE worked, so I didn't make the switch earlier. But Unity was, for me at least, it was so bad that I couldn't. I couldn't use it. I understood it, but well, everybody knows the first edition of Unity had quite a few issues. But that for me was a game changer, and I changed to Kubuntu, and since then I've started using it and started using the KDE applications. And at first I didn't understand them. It was hard to switch from GNOME applications to KDE applications, but eventually I liked them a lot more than GNOME applications, so I just stuck with them. And after all this application usage, and after I've been a user for a few years, I've decided, okay, I know it's open source, and now I've learned programming, but I don't really like how this application or that application works. I want to change a few things here and there. So I got involved in the community and talked with the Kubuntu team, and through them talked with the KDE teams, and got involved and started doing some junior jobs and some packaging, and wrote a little bit of documentation, but that's just a little bit, and mostly that's when I started. That was, let me remember exactly. I started contributing in 2012, I think. I started contributing to KDE and Kubuntu especially, and since then I've done a few packaging. I've done some packaging. I've done some development, and on the Kubuntu project right now, I'm in charge of the website, of the new Kubuntu website, which right now we are still considering what to do with the hosting. And on the KDE side, right now I'm involved in several projects. I'm working on KDevelop, which is for developers. I'm working on KDE PIM on some things. And mostly right now my current project is I'm learning about KDE Frameworks 5, how it works, and for that I need at my job, I need SVN. So I've used until Plasma 5, I've used KDE SVN. But right now, since it isn't ported, I need some water. Since it isn't ported to Frameworks 5, it doesn't work on the latest Kubuntu. So my current job is migrate KDE SVN to Frameworks 5, and I don't want to use this migration script because I want to learn how the framework works, and I want to understand every tiny aspect of it.
Cool. Okay, so well, do you know, I'm going to save the KDE SVN thing for another time, but we should put a note down to talk about that in more detail, because I've had some interaction with KDE SVN in the past and a little bit of interaction with the original developer. So maybe we'll come and look at that. But you said that special word, which was the website word, and in charge of. So what's happening with the Kubuntu website?
Sorry to interrupt you, Rick. I forgot one more thing. Right now, I've managed to be the official Kubuntu Romania representative. So, if anybody wants to talk to me about Kubuntu in Romanian, I'm the contact person for that. And so far, I've managed to switch many people to Kubuntu. Most of them from Windows and some of them from other Linux distros. And there's a school in my city that uses Kubuntu right now, and hopefully I'll manage to get that into City Hall as well. Right now I'm talking with a few council members.
Well, as in talking with council members at City Hall or council members Kubuntu Council?
City Hall council members to get Kubuntu in the city administration. I'm hoping for that, but right now we'll see what's happening, what's going to happen.
Okay, so well, do you know, there's lots to talk about, all the different things that you're doing, and that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's quite a long story.
But let's just get a quick update from you, because I know both Aaron and I are quite interested in what's happening with the website. When do you? What's the state of play with Kubuntu.org and the new website? Any news on when that's likely to go live, and we'll see the new updated version?
So right now, if anybody wants to see the current in the works new Kubuntu website, I'm going to post a link to it in the show notes, and people can see it there. But I don't know exactly. So the main problem right now is hosting. We would like to switch from our current host. I'm not going to mention it, who it is. We'd like to switch from it because usually the response times are pretty slow. And if we need something quickly changed because there's some new thing that we need published, and we have a dependency on that post, or we want to change the theme or something, we can't do that at the moment. So we're considering rolling out our own server or getting a VPS or something for hosting it, but we're still in the talks how to do all that. We have to keep in mind the security, and that would be the main reason why we would opt for a company hosting our site. instead of hosting it ourselves. Because if a company hosts it, we have some advantages, but we have some other disadvantages. So there are many things to take into consideration.
So, but this, I mean, it certainly sounds like it's in the pipeline and it's in the works, and it sounds like it's going to be one to watch. But I've posted that link to Google Plus. So anybody out there wants to find out, then jump to Kubuntu Podcast show, and you'll see a link there, and you can go and take a look at the new website as it comes on. Well, I suppose I should tell you a little bit about my background and where I come from and how I got involved in Kubuntu and KDE. So I've been involved in free software since about 1999 was when I first discovered it. I came across some floppy disks for a distribution called Mandrake Linux, and I thought, oh, this would be really interesting, something really cool and interesting to play with. And it took me a long time to get it installed on a machine and get it working, but eventually I did. Then I moved into using OpenSUSE. Well, not OpenSUSE, it was just SUSE, actually, the German SUSE, and that is what introduced me to KDE. It was SUSE Linux that were using KDE at the time, and that really suited me. I got involved in that. Then I got involved in driving it forward and doing deployments in enterprise, and I won't go into the details of that story, but if you Google my name or look for Supertramp, then you'll see there are loads of articles on the web about all the stuff that I did, basically deploying Linux to the desktop back in 2001. And I've been using KDE since those early days, and I have tried the other desktops. I quite like GNOME and what's now known as Mate, although over here we'd say Mate. We don't call it Mate, it's M-A-T-E, that means it's mate. But there you go. But I never really got into the Unity experience with Ubuntu when they were doing that. I quite liked the GNOME desktop in the early versions of it, and I used it for a little while, but almost as soon as I kind of discovered that, hey, wow, yes, there's Ubuntu, and that's, people are talking a lot about that, but actually if I dig a little deeper, there is Kubuntu, which is a KDE flavor of it. I was sold straight away, and that was me, and I've been using Kubuntu since that time, and that's a lot of years. And I use it for everything, both at work and at home and at play on all of my devices. It's what I know and what I'm comfortable with, and I don't know, you know what you like and you like what you know. So that's kind of my background. For my part in the Kubuntu community, I've been involved off and on for around about 5 years, 6 years, I suppose, trying to help in different ways. I've tried to help doing packaging and things like that, but I have a family, and I had my own business, and I work for a company, and so forth, and time is really narrow. So I have to try to use my time as effectively as I can. So I end up doing kind of lots of different things in the community that are all a bit disjointed. Either you'll find me floating around on IRC. I'm usually always in Kubuntu-devel. You can normally find me in there. You can see my my posts on Google Plus and so on and so forth. This particular venture, trying to get this podcast going, is something I really want to develop. Because I think that that will help promote Kubuntu, and I feel that advocacy and promotion are probably the role that probably fit me best, I suppose. So that's what I'm going to try to do. But I can get my fingers dirty, and I can develop, and in fact, actually, my IDE, my preferred IDE for doing any kind of software development is KDevelop. And if you haven't used that, if you've used something like Eclipse or NetBeans. Yeah, if you've used something like Eclipse or NetBeans or something like that, then that's KDevelop is like those tools on steroids. The whole session project management stuff inside of KDevelop is just wow.
May I interrupt you here?
Please do a video.
For Windows users mostly, I'm gonna guess you already know Notepad++. If you've done any kind of scripting or development, you should know about Notepad++. Now imagine Notepad++ built by KDE using the Qt framework, running on all platforms, Windows, Linux, Mac, whatever. That's Kate. Now imagine Kate combined with a debugger, which it already has a plugin for that, but never mind that. Combined with a debugger and many other development plugins, including versioning system, project management, session management, compiler. It's connected with many kinds of compilers, and most of all, intelligent scanning, parsing. It parses your project. For example, I work in C++ mostly. When I open my project, no matter what kind of project it is, it uses GNU make files, it uses CMake, it uses QMake, it uses auto tools. No matter, most of all the common, the main ones, the main project management, Kdevelop can handle them, and it parses the project as the compiler does, and it understands and shows you in detail how each class, how each variable is connected to the other ones. It's like you're asking the compiler after it compiled, how are these things connected? How do they work? So for a developer, that's gold.
So it's good, Ovidiu, yeah?
Good, it's too little to describe it.
I agree. It is too little to describe it. And I showed a few, some of my developers that work with me and my team, they use NetBeans or Eclipse and so on and so forth, and I've shown them how to look at Kdevelop. I haven't got any converts yet, but...
one more thing about Kdevelop.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly the release date, but I'm going to tell you, Kdevelop 4, right now it's at 4.7.1, this is the latest. It runs only on Linux, but on Kdevelop 5, there is work being done for porting to other operating systems to make sure it works on Windows, on Mac, and it uses the complete KDE framework system. So right now, with all the migrations finished, it should work just fine on Windows as well.
Well, do you know what? Let's put that on the list. We're going to add these ideas in a moment. In fact, let's add that to the notes now.
There are a few screenshots on the Kdevelop blog of Kdevelop running on Windows.
Awesome. Okay, so, well, guys, you're never going to believe it, but we are running out of time. We've got about 5 minutes left in the show. I want to dive back to Aaron, who's been fervently trying to install his Ubuntu phone app. So, did you get it working, Aaron? Is it installed? Tell us about it. Show us it. What's it doing?
I have my app called Ubuntu Beginner. It has links to where you can get news about Ubuntu, questions, social media if you need it, and it has a contribute tab where you can contribute back to Ubuntu Core, but also where you can find Kubuntu and the other flavors to their websites, respectively, all in one little app.
Can you post some screenshots in the show notes?
Yeah, I'll take some if I need to, too. Probably easier to take on here.
Okay, that'd be really cool. Another good point, I suppose, for us is, well, we'll decide this afterwards, but once we've decided afterwards, we will tell you, the audience, where we posted our shows and where we posted our show notes. But right now we don't have that because, as we told you at the beginning of the show, there was a little bit of pressure. We're not completely organized. So, there's lots of opportunity for you guys out there to get involved by helping us here at Kubuntu Podcast with some of the things that we're doing.
I just want to reiterate something you, Rick, said at the beginning. So Kubuntu and Ubuntu and all of these flavors, they are based on community work. That's what Ubuntu means in the African language. The name comes from. It's community. It's all about people working together. So this podcast we're doing right here is a community effort. We three are members of the Kubuntu community, and we want to help the other the other community members and non-members get in touch with Kubuntu, know more about this. So we want to receive from you guys questions or suggestions, anything you want to see or hear debated or talked about. Just let us know, and we'll put it in a queue, and we'll talk about all of them, or most of them.
What he said. Fantastic. Right, well, that's really awesome. So now, shortly, we'll produce this as a podcast, and we'll get some theme music for it, and so on and so forth. And don't forget about that contest to choose some theme music and let us know. And of course, get in touch with us. Find us on Google+. You can find us on IRC. We're always hanging around in there. Get involved. Let us know what's going on. We will be back again, so follow us on Google Plus for our next show, and we'll post that. That'll be in the event timeline sometime in the next 2 or 3 hours. We'll let you know what that is going to be. And we'll also post the show notes. I'm going to post all of the show notes out into Google Plus with all of the links and so on and so forth, and I'll do that in a few minutes. So we're going to go in a round table, and normally we need somebody to have the last word. Maybe, seeing as Aaron's been so quiet, I think Aaron should be the person that gets the Kubuntu Podcast final word. Okay, so I'm going to say my goodbyes. I'll pass it to Ovidiu to say goodbye, and then you can say goodbye and give us that final word, Aaron. And that's we'll see how that goes. So. It's been really exciting. It's been really stressful coming to this show at the last minute and getting it going. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Do get in touch with us. My name is Rick Timmis. This is the Kubuntu Podcast. I'll see you soon.
Okay, guys, I hope to see more watchers for this podcast, and especially more people getting involved with this. My name is Ovidiu-Florin BOGDAN. Yeah, it's huge, I know. And goodbye.
Hey guys, please join us for the next show. Put in your suggestions on what we should talk about. Contribute back to it. And you can find me on social media on Twitter. It's already on the show. It'll be on the show notes as well. See you next time.